And joining us now, two members of that 2011 St. Louis Cardinals team, now members of the same coaching staff in Miami. Marlins manager Skip Schumaker and first base coach Jon Jay. And gentlemen, good to see you. Thank you very much. Question to both of you. And Skip, you can answer first. And Jon, if you wouldn't mind following up, how often do you get reminded about that game and that series?
I get reminded almost every day because I'm still in a text thread with Michael Young and Nick Punto and a couple other guys that we go back and forth on. One guy loves it. One guy hates that thread. So, yeah, we go back and forth quite often.
Jon?
No, it's the same, still, group chats with, some of the old teammates on there. And, it's something that changed our lives forever. And, people always recognize that game. I spend a lot of time in St. Louis still, as well as Miami. And whenever I'm in St. Louis, it's always brought up at least 3 times a day. Anywhere I go, people bring that up every single time.
Amazing World Series. But this for you, Skip. I wanted to go in the weeds here because ninth inning, I had a chance to be part of a pretty exciting World Series in '97 when the Marlins beat the then Indians. But you got ninth inning, Ryan Theriot strikes out. King Albert hits a double with 1 out. Berkman walks, his first and second. Alan Craig strikes out. You got David Freese, a 1-2 count, fouled off a 1-2 pitch. Go into the moment, Skip, for me, while you're sitting there in the dugout going, okay, 1 pitch away, we may lose this, or not.
Well, I'll tell you, I was out of the game. I got double switched out of the game for actually Jon Jay. And Tony La Russa, he's not going to admit it probably now, but he was going to make sure that all of us were out there to make sure we said goodbye to the fans. We just weren't sure what was going to happen because Feliz at the time was one of the best relievers, not the best reliever in the game. And when you had 2 strikes, as much as you had faith in David Freese, you just didn't know what was going to happen. And the numbers will suggest that triple was definitely not going to happen. But that was kind of the story of the game, right? Like the first inning, they scored, they scored, we scored, they scored, we scored throughout the whole game. And we just never gave up. And that was kind of the story of that whole season.
Jon, take me through the nerves, man, right? When you're thinking about last strike, David Freese is that guy in that situation. But, as Skip just talked about, Feliz was the closer. So just take me through the nerves and sitting there and hoping that ball gets over Nelly Cruz's head. Because he took a route that I thought, hey, he didn't get after it like he should have. But, eventually it went over his head. Take me through your nerves, bro.
Yeah, it was cool watching the highlights now, and you kind of seeing that play where I'm sitting in the dugout and the ball gets hit and I'm going crazy. But the coolest thing on that team was was our leadership, right? Our leadership. I was a youngster then,
right.
And we just followed the lead of Skip and Chris Carpenter and Matt Holliday and all these great guys. So I always looked to them. If they weren't panicking, I wasn't panicking. And that was something that I learned then, right? So, and I'm still doing the same thing now with Skip, right? First year coaching him, doing the same thing. So he's always had my back. But no, I think that was just something that was instilled in us with Tony La Russa, and our leadership was, never give up, play to the end. And that was kind of the model of our season that year. And, to see a good buddy of mine, Freese, that we came up with the minor leagues, come through with that hit, and just everybody that contributed. If you look at that roster, every single person on that roster, you can look back to a game and say how they contributed. So I think that's the most special part of that team and that series.
Skip, you were not just a contributor earlier in the postseason. You took center stage. 2011 LDS Game 5 against the Phillies. Your hit was the difference off Roy Halladay. What did that moment mean for you?
Well, selfishly, it was the biggest hit of my career against the toughest pitcher besides Clayton Kershaw that I probably have ever faced in an environment that was easily the toughest environment I ever been in and played in. Kind of a crazy game. Call leads off with the double or triple, and then Tony La Russa before the game said, hey, I'm going to put you in the 2-hole, and we're going to hit you in front of Albert and just find a way to get on. And I was like, all right, he's got a gut feeling about something. And nobody had numbers against Doc Holliday. So I think, he just kind of was going to see what's going to happen. A couple lefties at the top. And, I remember every single pitch of that at bat. That's how special that at bat was for me. And then obviously the story of that game was the pitching and defense, and Chris Carpenter was unbelievable that game, him and Yachty working. And I think only one guy got to second base after the first inning from both teams. It was just an unbelievable game.
Jon, as I started this segment, you're obviously on the same coaching staff with Skip Schumaker there in Miami. I was at spring training last spring at your place, and I was struck by how many former big leaguers were not only on the coaching staff, but there at the facility working with the young players. What does that mean, do you think, being a former player? What does that mean to the current players to have so many former big leaguers just part of the staff and just generally being around?
I think it's something that's special, and I think you saw that this year where you got guys with a ton of experience, played a ton of different roles, and we can really relate to the guys. And I think that was the biggest thing, right? Where we can be that shoulder to come on and talk and just have those tough conversations that we've been through and use our experiences to help them. So I think that's something that was really an advantage to us, and it's something that's pretty cool when you look around the dugout and you see how many coaches played in the big leagues and went out there and did it. It's pretty cool. It's pretty special.
Hey, Skip, had a great season last year. Some boys stepped up, big trades at the deadline. Dealt with some adversity, as every team does. Jazz Chism got himself hurt. How's his offseason? How's he looking heading to camp in a few weeks?
Yeah, I saw Jazz. He was out here in California working out. He's 100% healthy. He was working out at Cal State Fullerton, hitting, going through his whole progression. I thought Jon Jay was actually great for him and teaching him how to play center field. And, it was tough. A position change is not easy at the major league level. And for him to do it in a really big ballpark in Miami on turf, was incredible to watch. And from the first month to the second and third month, Jazz became one of the better defensive outfielders in the big leagues. And if we can keep this guy healthy, he'll be the difference maker for us next year.
Hey, Skip, I'm watching the Marlins. You tell me otherwise, but this was a pitching strength club. I know you have more facets to that, but Yuri Perez, watching him, he's going to be 21. He's not even 21 yet. Luzardo at the front end, Braxton, Sanchez, it's plus arm every single night. Is that kind of the formula? I know you guys didn't do much as far as so far with adding players. Is this where you hang your hat on with some exceptional arms?
Well, I still believe in pitching and defense wins games. And that's what kept us in every single game is those arms that were just on your screen right there. It starts with starting pitching. Yuri Perez, he's 20 years old. He should be a junior in college, right? So the fact that what he did at the big league level last year was really incredible. And the fact that he still wants to get better and to learn and knows that he has to work to get to where his idol is, Sandy, is in the league, shows you what kind of guy he is. Zeus Luzardo is just coming into his own. Braxton Garrett had a great year, but our back end bullpen was phenomenal. And it starts with Tanner Scott. And so I think, that's definitely, our strength. Mel Stoudemire does a great job and Beef Cepeda over there. And grateful for how they have tutored them and mentored them into the guys they are today.
Hey, John, I got to go to the shoe game, man. You know what I mean? Like, the shoe game is all over the place. Like, where did it start? I mean, it's everywhere. I live down in Florida, too, so I see it all the time.
It's something I've always been passionate about since I was a kid. And, obviously coaching, you don't have to wear cleats, so you can wear regular shoes. So I've always had a collection I've always been into. That was always like my one thing where, guys are buying cars and guys were buying watches and doing different things. And I was just always buying sneakers everywhere we went. Try to get that sneaker plug, but something I love, and it's cool to see where it's gone, right? We see, everyone wearing sneakers. Doesn't matter your age. It's something that's pretty cool, and it shows a little bit of your personality. So something that I definitely do love, and I'm always, peeping to see what's going on out there with the sneaker game.
Hey, my shoe game is tired right now. It's winter. It's cold up here. My socks are whack. Hey, I can't really even turn it before I get a cramp in my leg. What you rocking?
That sounds like excuses, man.
It is.
I'm at a soccer practice.
And I take pride in these.
Yeah, I'm at a little soccer practice right now, but I got on some some Nike SBs, some Shane O'Neal. He's a legit skater, so just chilling. It's my chill vibes today.
I love it.
Well, gentlemen, thank you for this walk down memory lane. Great to catch up with you, and we look forward to chatting with you guys in a few weeks as spring training pitchers and catchers will be here before you know it. Thanks for the time.
Thank you, guys.